All praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Makak. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone, and Shalom to the elect of the nation of Israel. Knowing that you're an Israelite, right? That's what I'm going to name the title of this video. Knowing that you're an Israelite takes away these people in this world's power over you, man. Right? Because the things that we've been told that we are, the proverbs and bywords that we've been told that we are, all come with a negative image, man. Right? Being called black in this world is a negative image, man. Right? The things that are associated with being black in this world are negative, and that's not really who we are, man. Right? That's who our enemies would have us believe that we are, but who we actually are the children of Israel, and the prophecies that are in the Bible are attached to us, and we're fulfilling those things right now, right? Those curses that are mentioned in Deuteronomy the 20th chapter, we are under those curses, and it's clearly shown, man. But this world would have us believe that we're black forever, but we're not, though. And that's why I'm going to call this title of this video, calling yourself an Israelite, or knowing that you're an Israelite, takes away these people's power from you. Or I'm going to call it something along those lines. This is Isaiah chapter 4 and verse 6. My people are destroyed for lack of knowledge. Because they have rejected knowledge, I will also reject thee. My people are destroyed for lack of knowledge. Because thou hast rejected knowledge, I will also reject thee, that thou shalt be no priest to me, seeing thou hast forgotten the law of thy power. I will also forget thy children. So being destroyed because of lack of knowledge isn't what you want to do, man. Right? So knowing that you're an Israelite, you therefore then know the reason why you're in the bad position that you're in on the earth. So you can't have somebody try and laugh at your history and laugh at the Atlantic slave trade and think that we're just slaves. Because if you know the reason why you went through that, then it gives you power, right, over them. Because when if somebody tries to mention that history to you, and you tell them, well, the reason that we went through that is because we sinned against God, they're not used to hearing that answer, right? They're used to you just running your mouth, getting angry, and then wanting to fight them. But if you tell them the reason why we went through that is because we were cursed by God for breaking the laws that he gave us and our forefathers, right? But when we start following those laws again, then we are going to get revenge on all of our enemies that put us through those things. That's when they start realizing that they are in a bad situation, man. And I recently made a video about Cleopatra and the Netflix series, and about how people are complaining that she's been given a dark-skinned image, which she very well could have looked like a dark-skinned woman, but she was an Edomite. But I looked at the average time length on that video, right? And the average time length was around about, the average viewing duration was around like 1 minute. So then I watched the video back again, and I saw what information was gave in the first 1 minute of the video. And the amount of time that people was able to stomach watching that video was up to the point where I said that so-called white people are Edomites. And that's where people's attention span started switching off, man, because they don't like hearing that about themselves. They like to try and laugh at everyone else's culture, but they don't like hearing the truth about themselves. This is Deuteronomy chapter 30 and verse 1. And it shall come to pass when all these things are come upon thee, the blessing and the curse, meaning the Israelites had to go through the good times and the bad, which I have set before thee, and thou shalt call them to mind among all the nations with Yahweh thy power have driven thee. So we're going to be talking about the reason why we're in a bad situation around all these different nations in the earth where we've been scattered due to the curses that we was on, right? And in doing that, we was going to let these nations know that they are going to have to pay for the things that they did to us. And that the reason why we're in that position is not because we're stupid. It's not because we're half ape and half human. It's not because we're black, right? It's because we're the children of Israel and we sinned against Yahweh. Therefore, he kept his side of the contract by putting curses under us. The covenant was never that if the Israelites kept the laws, they'd be blessed. But if they sinned, they'd be cast away. No. The contract was always, if the Israelites kept the laws, they would be blessed. And if they didn't keep the laws, then they would be cursed. And that happened, right? But when you go to Deuteronomy the 30th chapter, you find out that, in fact, the Israelites had to go through the curses, right? Which I have set before thee, and thou shalt call them to mind among all the nations with Yahweh thy power have driven thee, and thou shalt return unto Yahweh thy power, and shalt obey his voice, according to all that I command thee this day, thou and thy children with all thy heart and with all thy soul. So the prophecy states that the Israelites was going to be scattered into all these nations due to the curses. They was going to have also experienced the blessings as well at one point, which was under King Solomon, right? But then they was going to start talking about Yahweh and they was going to obey his voice. Verse 3, that then Yahweh thy power will turn thy captivity and have compassion upon thee. So this world likes the fact that we were slaves. And these Edomites, man, these so-called Caucasians, which their real nationality is that of an Edomite, right? They're our evil twin, man. They've got exactly the same lineage as us, going up, and it ends at Isaac, right? From Isaac onwards, that's where the divide between us and them occurs. Because we come from Jacob, we come from Israel, and they come from Esau, they come from Edom. And that's why the main two people that are always battling on each other on the earth, and the main rivalry on this earth is always that of a so-called black man, Latino and Native American versus a Caucasian man. Look at all the history that happened with the stealing of America. That's a big history, right? Look at how America's trying to make a whole border to stop the Mexicans from coming into their own land, because it really belongs to the Mexicans before it belonged to them Edomites. It don't belong to them, really. And look at the Atlantic slave trade, man. Those are 3 great battles that the Edomites have fought. Against the children of Israel, man. And they was able to win those battles because that was all part of prophecy also. That Esau was going to be able to conquer the saints, right? And bruise the saints and wear out the saints. That's part of prophecy, man. But it's also part of prophecy that the saints was going to rise up out of that, and that the saints was going to take the kingdom. Daniel's 7th chapter speaks on that. Verse 4, in fact, verse 3 again, that then Yahweh thy power will turn thy captivity and have compassion upon thee, and will return and gather thee from all the nations with Yahweh thy power have scattered thee. And that's where we get that great multitude that is mentioned in Revelation 7 and 9. These are all Israelites. All those people that have been gathered from all these different nations that are part of different kindreds and tongues, nations and people, they are all Israelites that were scattered in all these different nations as part of the curses of Deuteronomy, the 28th chapter, as part of the curses of the old covenant that the Israelites was given, as part of the curses of the covenant with Yahweh that they was given. That's what caused them to be scattered, because according to Deuteronomy, the 28th chapter and the 64th verse, when the Israelites sinned, they would be scattered into all these different nations. And that happened, man. Verse 4, if any of thine be driven out to the outmost parts of heaven, from thence will Yahweh thy power gather thee, and from thence will he fetch thee. And Yahweh thy power will bring thee into a land which thy fathers have possessed, and thou shalt possess it, and he will do thee good, and multiply thee above thy fathers. And Yahweh thy power will circumcise thine heart, and the heart of thy seed, to love Yahweh thy power with all thine heart, and with all thy soul, that thou mayest live. Right? So that's the Israelites being blessed and being given a new covenant. Verse 7, and Yahweh thy power will put all these curses upon thine enemies, and on them that hate thee, which persecuted thee. So that means that all these other nations are going to be going into slavery on ships too. And then they're going to get to question whether it's really Egypt in that time. They're going to be getting called proverbs and bywords too. They're going to be cursed when they go in and cursed when they go out. They're going to be smitten with madness. They're going to have to serve their enemies for hunger and in nakedness and in thirst and in the want of all things. And we're going to be their enemy. They're going to have to be evil. Their eye is going to be evil towards their own brother and towards the seed of their wives. Towards the seed of their bosom, man. As it says in this. Let me read it. Deuteronomy chapter 28 and verse 54. So that the man that is tender among you and very delicate, his eye shall be evil towards his brother, and towards his wife of his bosom, and towards the remnant of his children which he shall leave. That's what these Edomites are going to be having to deal with, man. They're going to be having evil eyes towards each other. In the kingdom, Esau is going to be having to deal with a Karen, running their mouth, telling him he ain't got no balls, telling him he needs to man up, telling him he's a coward, telling him he needs to rise up and fight against these Israelites because we're in captivity. And he's going to be looking at her like she's lost her damn mind, because these Israelites that she's going to be talking about are going to be godly men that have got a completely different body, that are going to be able to fly. The Edomite woman's not going to want to deal with the Edomite man. She's going to be distancing herself from him, right? She's going to be trying to afro her hair out. You know what I mean? She's going to be hoping that the sun blesses her to make her darker, so that she can look more less than not pale. They're going to be doing all the things that the Israelite woman's been doing to us now. If they try and think they're going to escape and do a revolt, which will be hilarious. They thought of that's even hilarious. But if they even try and think about doing that, the Israelite woman's going to be snitching. And then there's going to be Edomite men that are going to be snitching too. Coons, man. There's going to be coon Edomites snitching on each other. All the things that we went through, you people are going to go through. So all the laughter that you nations had against us, where you thought that it was funny that we was cursed and you laughed at the low position that we was in, well, you're going to have to deal with that within among your nations. And we're going to see how funny it is then, man. We're going to see how funny it is when your nation's destroyed and when your nation's in poverty. And you're going to have to pay. It doesn't matter whether you don't want to, whether you think, nah, it wasn't us that went through it. We didn't personally go through it. Well, justice hasn't been served for the people that did go through it, then has it? So it still needs to be, if you want to play it like that. Oh, no matter what words you people say, right? It's not going to escape you from going through this. We had to drink the cup. You're going to have to drink the cup. Obadiah chapter 1 and verse 10. For violence against thy brother Jacob, shame shall cover thee, and thou shalt be cut off forever. So you're going to have to pay, man. It don't matter whether you don't want to pay. We didn't want to pay, but we had to pay. Yahweh Shai didn't want to go on the cross initially, but he fulfilled his role also. Everyone's had to fulfill their role, man. Yahweh Shai went through what he had to go through. We went through what we had to go through. And we're going to go through whatever we have to go through further. There's certain people that have destined to get their heads chopped off because they don't want to take the charagma of the beast. They're going to have to go through that. And you Edomites are destined to go into captivity under the children of Israel. So you're going to go through that. For violence against thy brother Jacob, shame shall cover thee, and thou shalt be cut off forever. And when you carry on reading, it goes into all these different reasons as to why that's going to happen. Verse 15. For the day of Yahweh is near upon all the heathen. As thou hast done, it shall be done unto thee. Thy reward shall return upon thine own head. All you heathens are going to have to pay for putting your hands on the Israelites, man. And it don't matter whether you don't want to. You're going to. It doesn't matter whether you think that's unfair or that's a bit harsh, right? It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter, man. Because what you say is going to happen according to biblical judgments is worse than what we're saying. You say that you're going to burn in hell forever. When most of you people can't even handle spilling a little bit of hot water on your toe by accident when you're making a cup of tea, man, or a coffee. So none of you could handle burning in hell forever. Most of you people can't handle doing 50 push-ups in a row without your arms shaking all over the place and start crying and that. But you think you can handle burning in hell forever. Most of you people can't handle banging your toe off the door frame, man. And you think you can handle burning in hell forever. You can't, man. So don't tell us that we're harsh. You're harsh. Isaiah chapter 14 and verse 1. For Yahweh will have mercy on Jacob. So we're going to receive mercy. And whether you people believe that we're the Israelites or not, it doesn't matter. We are. For Yahweh will have mercy on Jacob and will yet choose Israel and set them in their own land. And the strangers shall be joined with them, and they shall cleave to the house of Jacob. And the people shall take them and bring them to their place. And the house of Israel shall possess them in the land of Yahweh for servants and handmaids. And they shall take them captives whose captives they were, and they shall rule over their oppressors. So you had a good run, laughing at the slavery that you put us in. But the end of all of that is you going into slavery. And that's why your societies are crumbling right now. That's why inflation is through the roof, right? That's why your governments are slowly taking all the power that you people have away from you so that you cannot make money without them knowing, because they want to be able to tax you for every penny that you make. They want to know where your money is going, who your money is going to. They want to know all of that information, man. And they want you to own nothing and be happy. So don't get proud with us, because we can see the crumbling of your society. And the same war that's taking place between Russia and Ukraine, that's a catalyst that is going to cause war among all the nations on the earth, man. Because you Edomites that are running NATO just couldn't leave your other Edomite brothers alone because of your greed of your hearts, man. But really, Yahweh was making you have enmity towards each other so that he can cause for the day of Yahweh's wrath to come to pass, for the day of his wrath to come to pass, and bring in his son to clean up all the mess. Because when World War III comes, let's make no mistake about it, that is the day that Yahweh Shai enters into the earth. when the nuclear missiles, ICBMs, get shot off into the face of the earth, that is going to be the day that Yahweh Shai is going to enter into the earth, man. And it doesn't matter who don't believe it. If you're alive on that day, you're going to see it with your own eyes. And then there's going to be no need for faith, right? Because for when men will not believe that the Lord Yahweh is full of power, then he shows his strength. And among them that knows it, he makes his boldness manifest, man. And I'm going to end the lesson there. In fact, let me read this scripture too. Isaiah chapter 14 and verse 1, for Yahweh will have mercy on Jacob, and will yet choose Israel, and set them in their own land. And the stranger shall be joined with them, and they shall cleave to the house of Jacob. And the people shall take them, and bring them to their place. And the house of Israel shall possess them in the land of Yahweh, for servants and handmaids. And they shall take them captives, who captives they were, and they shall rule over the oppressors. So we're going to rule over the people that oppressed us. So if you never did nothing to us, you ain't got nothing to worry about, right? If all of you nations never did nothing to us, you ain't got nothing to worry about. But if all of you nations check your history, you will see, in fact, in actual deed, you have did stuff to us. But Esau's did the worst, and he's going to get it the worst. Isaiah chapter 14 and verse 16. They that see thee shall narrowly look upon thee, and consider thee, saying, is this the man that made the earth to tremble, that did shake kingdoms? They're going to look at you like, how on earth was this little weasel able to ever cause anyone any harm, man? And that's going to cause them to fear Yahweh. And it's going to cause us to fear Yahweh, man. We're going to see that little grimy Wizard of Oz that was hiding behind the curtain, that was scaring everyone, ruling the whole earth with all this wrath, right? And we're going to see how was this weak weasel able to have power over anything, man? Especially over a people as great as the children of Israel. The real children of Israel, not those frauds in the land right now, man. Faking to be the people while they're pushing everything against the scriptures. While they're turning the land of Israel into a modern day Sodom and Gomorrah. All praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Rakah Kwadash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone, and Shalom to the elect to the nation of Israel. Shalom.